Almost.
Did we have any public comments?
I can move. Mom gone to sleep. Okay.
All right.
No public comments. So, okay.
Okay.
Right here. That's it.
All right. It is 6 o'clock, and I will call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is a moment of silence.
At this time, we would like to observe a moment of silence in honor of Elkhorn Middle School course teacher, Mr. Damon Green, who passed away this past Monday. As you all know, Mr. Green was a fantastic teacher and an even better human being. So we'd like to have a moment of silence.
All right. You said there's no public comments?
No public comments.
All right. Then we'll move on to new business. The first item is approval of board resolution related to COVID-19.
Governor Beshear signed Senate Bill 177 into law on March 24th, 2020. This bill allows local school boards the flexibility to allow emergency leave beyond what is normally allowed by statute in response to the public health emergency caused by a COVID-19 virus. We're requesting board approval of a resolution allowing emergency leave to school district employees. This emergency leave will be temporary and only applicable during the 2019-2020 school year. The recommended motion is to approve emergency leave resolution caused by COVID-19 for the 2019-2020 school year only.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I was going to ask, now is the governor going to, are we still getting SEEK funds and all that?
Yes, our funding will not be impacted negatively during this time. We will continue to collect all the funding that we have been in terms of SEEK, and they're trying to minimize the impact to districts as much as possible. And we greatly appreciate that from the governor and from the commissioner.
Okay.
All right. And remember, Rebecca said that we needed to take a roll call for votes. And so I'll just go down the list as I see it here on the thing here. So first is me, and I approve. Chuck?
Yes.
Belinda?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
And Justin?
Aye.
Okay. Motion approved. Next item is 2019-2020 revised school calendar.
We have a revised school calendar, and Kyle's on the call here. He can jump in and take some of this. We are going to we're looking to change some days that had been, like May 19th was election day, and that's of course been changed. We're going to make that a student day. May 1st, we would like to make a student day, and that will move up the student's last day to May 20th. And then there are some additional professional development days. Kyle, anything you need to, actually, let me just say first, Kyle, is there anything that you need to say about this before we do the motion?
Who? Kyle?
Not unless there's any questions that the board members have.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll do the recommended motion then is to approve the revised 2019-2020 school calendar as presented.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Justin made the motion and Belinda seconded. Discussion, I just wanted to say I was looking at my calendar that I had, pre-populated with all of the days off, and I was wondering if we would do this, and I think it's a really good idea. Just keep everybody, we had spring break, that was great. But in between now and the end, let's just keep everybody on schedule and get it over with.
That was the question I have. It might not be the correct time to ask this, but you might address it later, Mr. Cobb. I know the Kentucky Department of Education has made recommendations for our seniors have we looked at what recommendation the principals and you are going to make to the board? When are we going to look at that?
So two things. Number one, we're going to talk about a little bit of that later on during the superintendent's report. And
Okay.
then at our next board meeting, you all are going to have a recommendation as to what we want to do in terms of graduation. But we're too soon right now to make the decision. But we will talk about it in a little bit.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, all in favor of the superintendent's motion? Natalie Lyle is yay. Yes. Chuck Fletcher?
Yes.
Belinda Henson?
Yes.
Larry Perkins?
Yes.
Justin Watterson?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is revised 2019-2020 board meeting schedule.
Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're recommending that we cancel the April 20th, 2020 working board meeting. Originally, that's the meeting that we have in a school. And right now, at this time, we don't have any items that we would need to have a special called meeting for. If something along those lines change, we can always call a special called board meeting, but as of right now, we don't. So the recommended motion is to approve the revised 2019-2020 board meeting schedule that has that April 20th meeting canceled as presented.
Okay. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, second.
Okay, Chuck and Belinda. All right. Any discussion? That sounds good to me. All right. We'll take a roll call vote on that motion now. Natalie Lyle votes yes. Chuck Fletcher?
Yes.
Belinda Henson?
Yes.
Larry Perkins?
Yes.
Justin Watterson?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is ASP summer program fees.
And this, with the big letters, is pending COVID-19 health status. But per board policy 09.15, all school fees must be approved in advance by the board. The elementary school ASP summer programs are requesting approval of ASP fees for various activities. The fees are attached. We would ask you to pass this, and then if anything changes, we have put the language in there about pending COVID-19 health status. So the recommended motion is to approve ASP fees as presented.
All right. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So, okay, second. Sorry, Justin.
Okay. Justin and then Belinda. Is there any discussion?
This is for the only those two schools that submitted, right? Bridgeport and Collins Lane, I think. Will there be other schools that will
There may
submit?
be some more. There may actually be some more on here. Rebecca's looking that up right now. Let me check real quick. I've got Bridgeport, Collins Lane, Elkhorn Elementary, Hearn, Peaks Mill, and Westridge listed on here.
Okay, so this is not a blanket covering. They would also have to submit theirs
Right.
for approval, correct?
Correct. No,
Okay.
they actually, there's some of them that are already on there. Those ones I just read are actually on that attachment. So, but if there are some other ones, we would obviously have to bring those at that time.
Okay.
All right. I'll take a roll call vote on this motion now. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher?
Yes.
Belinda Henson?
Yes.
Larry Perkins?
Yes.
Justin Watterson?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion approved. I love this one. My husband printed this one and he said, "What is this?" The next item is use of school property for personal garden.
Joe and Linda Stewart, as you all have been on the board for a while, know have done this for years with us. They're requesting the continued use of a small area behind their house owned by Franklin County Schools for garden space. They've utilized this in the past, and it's their job to maintain the area in terms of mowing and trimming, and they always do a great job keeping it up. A copy of the request is attached for your review. The recommended motion is to approve the space behind the residence on 132 Seminole Trail to be used as a garden, contingent upon regular maintenance by the residents.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation.
I make
Well,
the motion to approve.
okay, Larry first or moves and
Chuck
Belinda
Becker.
seconds. Oh,
Chuck.
Chuck
Chuck did,
second.
yeah.
Sorry, okay. Any discussion?
Yes, if
I would
you read
request
her
that we get
letter,
Yeah, I was going to say that
if you read her letter, it says that
there.
they request this
Been,
indefinitely. I don't think we should just do it indefinitely. I think if we did it at least every other year or every year, I'm not really comfortable saying indefinitely.
I think
If they sold their home,
I agree with Belinda 100%. I think as a government entity, we're not supposed to be entering into multi-year contracts with anyone for any reason. So I think we take this year to year.
Okay, I think that sounds good.
I would agree.
And that's what we've done in the past. That's what we've done in the past.
Yes.
If any of you realize, Stan Stauchy started out many, many years ago while he was one of them that had the garden there, and it was the multi-use garden. So it's been going on for 5 years or longer.
Yeah.
Do we want to spell out the language in the motion? So in other words, do you want
I
to
think
amend the
we
motion
should.
to say?
So there's no question. They clearly asked for it indefinitely, and I think we should respond saying that should be a year by year, or if you all want to do every other year. But I think it's best if we do year by year.
I
That's
think
just my opinion.
Let's get a motion to amend the motion with that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend the motion to approve the use as a garden for 1 year. Is there a second of the motion, the amendment?
I second it.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's vote on the amendment first to add the limitation of 1 year. I vote yes on the amendment. Chuck Fletcher,
I vote yes on the amendment.
Belinda Henson,
Yes, Natalie, should we word it how would we put that on there, that every year it would be determined on a yearly basis or something? Because the way that states is that we're only going to let them do it for 1 year, whereas we may determine
well,
year by year.
Go back.
They've all applied for each year.
Don't I do that? Yeah, every year they already do it. So Rebecca, just go back and put for 1 year, because that's the amendment, at least now that we're voting on. And Belinda, as a lawyer, if you say to approve something for a year, that doesn't mean only 1 year.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
good deal. Well, then let's let it stand as you wrote it. Good deal.
Okay. All right. And
We were
then
up- Yeah.
Larry, do you agree with the amendment? Larry,
Have we
No.
lost him?
I don't think so. Larry Perkins? Okay, well, let's skip him and go to Justin. Do you
Yeah.
agree on the amendment, Justin? Larry, did we lose you? Okay, we may have lost Larry. And Rebecca, did we lose you?
No,
She
Rebecca's
hasn't
still-
retyped. Okay, well, she hasn't retyped for 1 year. I thought she was going to type that back in. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
She is typing it right now.
Okay.
So we have to pause just for 1 second since Larry is frozen up.
Okay.
So we'll try to call him and ask him to reconnect if we can just pause for 1 second.
Okay. Looking under my table, finding all my puzzle pieces that dropped.
Okay,
Why is
Larry said he
everyone
has
going-
us, but I don't see him yet.
Chuck's on mute.
I'm waiting for
There
him.
you go.
Waiting for Larry to get back. I don't see him either. Does somebody have to approve him re-entering?
No, he should just be able to jump back in.
Okay. Oh, Larry.
Could we come back to it?
I think we got to stop the whole meeting.
Do we?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Chuck, who's that in the background on the poster?
No. Don't you be worried about her.
Okay, sorry, folks, for the delay here. We're still working with, trying to get Larry back on.
Show y'all my.
If we can't get him back, we'll have to pause. We just have to pause until we can get him back. He couldn't even call in because he has to be on video for the voting according to KSBA. So we're just gonna hang out for a couple minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, I mean we have a quorum. I mean I want him to be involved, but we do have a quorum without him.
Okay, all right. I just talked to him. He said he was. He said he had us, but is that?
He just won't be able to vote.
Yeah.
If he can't get it, we'll just make sure he doesn't want us to wait.
Okay, we're going to contact him right now. We're giving him a call, and if he can't get back in, then we'll proceed without him. If that's okay with him. Hang on one second.
don't see the video.
Okay, I see Larry. He's gonna
See Larry.
click on this
Is he
video.
back?
Larry, can you hear us?
Okay, but we need your video.
I've got that he's muted.
There he is. We're good.
Fine.
Okay.
We're good, Natalie.
All right.
So I think
Larry.
you've passed the amendment, right? And Larry,
Well,
Larry's vote.
I need to get Larry's vote on the amendment. Larry, we're voting on the amendment to limit the approval of the garden to 1 year. Do you agree to that amendment?
Can you hear me? I'm trying to get me off mute.
Yes. Now I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, now we can't. You hit it too many times. Hit it once and take it off. There we go. Now,
Can you hear me?
now we can. Yes.
Yes.
So do you approve the amendment?
Okay, I said yes.
Okay. So
Yes, yes, yes.
now we need to vote on the motion, which is the approval of them continuing to use the space for the next year. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes, yes, I do.
Larry Perkins,
Yes,
Larry, okay, and Justin Watterson.
yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Next item is approved final fiscal year 2020-2021 SBDM allocations.
The proposed staffing allocations for 2021 were presented at the February 3rd board meeting. There have been no changes to those allocations, but it's a process that we have to have final allocations that must be approved. So attached are those final allocations, again, with no changes since the last time you approved them for the 2021 year. The recommended motion is to approve the federal year 2020-2021 SBDM allocations as presented.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I think Belinda made the motion and Larry seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, I'll do a roll call. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes.
Larry Perkins,
Have we lost him again?
Larry. I think his sound is
Yes,
all right. And Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
yes. Okay.
All right. Next item, approve staff plans for 2020-2021.
Due to changes and decisions made by site-based decision-making councils and principals concerning staffing plans for schools, along with district needs, the attached positions need to be created, abolished, and or amended for the 2020-2021 school year. And I do want to commend Holly Atkins for putting all this together with Nicole and all the principals for all their hard work on this. The recommended motion is to approve staff plans for 2020-2021 as presented.
All right. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Let's say Justin made the motion and Chuck seconded.
Got that?
All right. Any questions or discussion?
Yes, I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. Mr. Cobb, on those disapproval, I've seen several items dealing with Dean of Students. Is that a new position? Can you explain what the Dean of Students goes?
Yep.
One school has 3 principals and then 1 Dean of Students. So can you explain the Dean of Students, please?
Yeah, so it's just a name change from a position that we've had for several years now. Formerly, those positions were called curriculum instruction and assessment coaches, and we have changed the title to Dean of Students. That's actually academic Dean of Students. What that does is you had a lot of these folks that are in these CIA positions that have been working on their principal certification so that eventually someday maybe they could become a principal. When you get principal certification, you have to use it in a position that requires it. So what we had to do was they were basically doing the job of an assistant principal, but it wasn't allowing them to use that certification. So that was one of the key reasons for changing the job title. Charlotte, would you like to add anything to that?
No, it's just actually what you said. So we want to have certification, but we are posting the positions and they are posting positions.
So, is Larry saying something?
Somebody have a question, or is that just feedback?
Yeah.
The other, so a lot of abolishing, Mr. Cobb, a lot of those abolishing positions then will replace those with the created position. Is that correct?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. And one other question I had, one other one. Did we not have a PE teacher at Collins Lane? It said that there's a new grade.
No, yeah, that's an error in the form. So where it says abolish next to PE, if you look at there's an abolish next to principal, I think as well. It was something got moved on it's supposed to just be moved down one. I've already brought it to Holly's attention. She's going to make that correction. They've had a PE teacher. It's just it was changing that again, academic dean of students from CIA.
Okay, yes, that is correct. On the Collins Lane, it was a principal, dean of students, and the PE was concerned. Okay,
right. Yeah, it was just an error, but
Larry's offline again.
okay. So Larry is offline again.
Mark, what might help the offline online thing with Mr. Perkins is his bandwidth. If you speak, and we had to do this on admin meetings, when you're talking, you unmute, but otherwise keep your button on mute, and that way everybody can come through. We have this trouble sometimes, so that helps. I don't know if that'll help Mr. Perkins' situation.
Okay, great. And we will try to get him back. So Rebecca's working on that now. I apologize for technology's always fun.
Yeah. So my daughter's walking behind me with her robe on, and I said, I think she does have clothes, and she does. Go Rogue is what it says from Rogue One, Star Wars. Are you giving me funny ears?
Yes.
How
long are we out of school right now?
Through the end of May, or no, the end of April, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Through May 1st.
Yeah.
I heard this one rumor that we weren't going to start going to school next year and they were going to do online learning for the beginning of school next year. That's a rumor I heard. Which
I love the rumor now. Don't believe everything.
Yeah. Just let y'all know what's going on.
Just say, nope, not going to happen. It is not approved. We're waiting for one more person to get back on so we can have our votes.
Nice.
Okay, so Larry has said to just go ahead and go on without him since you have a quorum, and if he can try to get back in for one of the future items, he will. But for now, he'll just be whatever on the voting. So
Okay.
go ahead now.
All right. Then I will go ahead and call the roll call on approving this motion. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes.
and Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay. So motion approved. The next item is the March 2, 2020 meeting minutes.
The March 2nd meeting minutes are attached for your review and approval. Ms. Lyle was absent from this meeting and must abstain from voting. The recommended motion is to approve the March 2nd, 2020 meeting minutes as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Chuck and Belinda. And I'll call the roll. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes.
and Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. The next item is approved audit proposal.
Attached is the audit RFP tabulation sheet. Based on the tabulation scores, we propose the board awards the 2019-2020 financial statement audit to Barnes Denning. That is a new audit firm for us. Our former audit firm was one of the groups that presented, but we are recommending going with Barnes Denning, and I can speak to that more when we have the questions. So the recommended motion is to approve the audit award to Barnes Denning for the 2019-2020 financial statement audit.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mark.
Yes, I can just tell you that we put it out to bid. There were 3 proposals that came back. The 3 bids are tabulated there. Shane and his team scored the groups, and Barnes Denning was the highest score and also the cheapest price. So RFH was the group that's been doing our audit for the last few years. They came in at $32,900. Dean Dorton was at $30,000 and Barnes and Denning was at $22,000. Shane, is there anything that I need to add to that, or anything you would like to add?
No, I think that's about correct. Really, the pricing is what came down to the scoring difference. There was such a price difference. So Barnes Denning, they audit about 15 districts, and so they've been doing this and are very qualified. So.
Shane, how long will they have a contract with us?
Well, what was the first part of that?
How long will we have a contract with them?
So this is just a 1-year contract. We can renew it or put it out to bid again next year if we want, but this is only a 1-year contract.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I will call the roll on the motion to approve the audit award to Barnes Denning for the 2019-2020 financial. I vote yes. Chuck?
Yes.
Belinda?
Yes. Yes.
Larry?
Yes, I'm back on.
And do you vote yes?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, and
Okay.
Justin?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion approved. The next item is construction. Collins Lane D&T electric pay application number 19.
Attached for your review and approval is the pay app for D&T Electric in the amount of $24,748.59 for the Collins Lane project. Recommended motion is to approve Collins Lane Elementary D&T Electric Pay App 19 is presented.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, any discussion? All right, I'll call the roll. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher?
Yes.
Yes.
Belinda Henson?
Yes.
Oh. Larry Perkins? Did we lose him again?
Yes.
I think we lost him again. Oh, yes. No, there he is. Okay.
No, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, I see it. I see you now. And Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. And approve construction documents, plans, and specifications for turf field bidding.
Construction documents, plans, and specifications for bidding pending KDE approval of the BG1. The KDE BG2 outline spec forms and the KDE BG3 statement of probable costs for the turf field installations at Western Hills and Franklin County as presented by JRA Architects are attached for your review and approval. The recommended motion is to approve the construction documents, plans, and specifications for the turf field bidding as presented.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? So this is the set of drawings that they have come up with that we're now going to go out and bid for what? Subcontractors?
Yes. So yeah, that's the plans and specs for what how they're going to do the field, what the construction process is going to be like. And then that's what they'll bid out for the excavation and all of that stuff.
All right. Any other questions? All right. I'll call the roll. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes.
Larry Perkins,
Yes.
Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved. Next is reports to the board.
So the first one is the monthly financial report and our treasurer's report. The balance, our total beginning balances were $28,277,195.84. Then we had deposits and disbursements. So the balance ending as of February 29, 2020 in both of our accounts. And again, we still have some money in the community bank account. But then our main account of traditional bank, our total deposits, or total ending balances, are $28,137,288.19. So the recommended motion is to approve the February 2020 financial reports as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the financial reports?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor indicate, well, I'm sorry. If there's no, I assume there's no questions. I'll call
Actually,
the
I
roll.
do.
Oh,
How much
sorry,
do we
go
have in
ahead.
our contingency fund right now?
So Shane, do you want to address where we are in terms of contingency at this moment?
Well, the contingency fund is, it's included in this total bank balance. So whatever the budget was, I think we budgeted somewhere around $9 million, if I'm not mistaken. That has been untouched. So we don't touch anything in the contingency without bringing it before the board. Or, that's one of the reasons we had the conversation a couple of meetings ago about moving some small amounts out of the school's contingency budgets. And it was just purely a question of those amounts being coded incorrectly. But we haven't touched any of the contingency budget.
Okay.
All right, I'll call the roll. I vote yes. Chuck Fletcher,
Yes.
Belinda Henson,
Yes.
Larry Perkins,
Yes.
Justin Watterson.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. The next item is superintendent's personnel actions.
Personnel actions taken since the last meeting of the board are presented for your information only.
Reports from school councils.
Draft minutes from the school's site-based decision-making councils are presented for your review.
And attendance report. How does this work?
Kyle, why don't you go ahead there?
Actually, we have month attendance because before we left, month 7 attendance was just ending. We ended the month with 93 and 6600ths. It would just so happen that we are not having a face-to-face meeting for me to announce that The winners this month was Western Hills High School at 94 and 8400ths, followed right behind by Elkhorn Middle School at 94 and 6400ths. So I'm very proud to see a middle and a high school step up there and take the leading positions. We ended month 7 with an enrollment of 6,175 students.
And how are we doing attendance now?
On my part, our attendance now goes in as a daily rate based upon our last year's 80 average daily membership. That's how we end up putting in the figures for our NTI. The way that we report to the state, we have to report weekly student participation numbers. Principals collect those numbers and fill them in and submit that to Charlotte, and Charlotte has to turn those in. And that is determined upon if students complete assignments. And also if when the teachers are talking to families, talking to students, they have to do a measure of the students' learning, just through formative questions, asking questions, getting the feedback. It has to involve two-way communication or some type of work so that we can verify that students are participating.
Thank you for that explanation. That helps a lot. Okay, we don't need to vote on that, right? No. Okay, so next is the superintendent report.
So a few things I'd like to share. First of all, we've got some really good news just today, actually, from our friends at West Banco. West Banco has agreed to donate $1,250 to the Backpack Snacks program that Pam Tate runs and Kyle oversees Pam, and we're ecstatic about that. I talked to Kyle about it today, and they were in need of some funds to help sustain the backpack program. Anything you want to say about that, Kyle?
No, it just was very much appreciated. We just did a complete run for what will be about 5 weeks worth of Backpack Snacks, and that was right at $4,000. So the donation is coming at a great time.
And that segues really well into, I wanted to make sure that we thank all of our food and nutrition employees, as well as our transportation employees. They have just done an outstanding job of helping to feed all of our kiddos. Today, I think we handed out over 6,000 meals for the next 3 days. And they've worked tirelessly since this has gone on. So Wendy and Brad and all of their folks, kudos. They've really done an outstanding job for us. And the last thing really I just wanted to talk about was, what we kind of mentioned earlier, and that is what are some things that we need to talk about when May rolls around. We don't have any firm answers yet on if and when we're going to have students come back, but I did want to talk to you all about graduation. That's a question we're getting a lot from all of our parents and our kiddos, our seniors. And this is really difficult during this, the seniors have, they've missed out on a lot of things that, their last year of school. So I can't really speak to prom, but what I can say about graduation is my intention in some way, shape, or form, and we don't know what it's going to look like or when it's going to be, but we're going to honor our seniors in terms of a graduation. I spoke with the horse park, and if for whatever reason we can't come back and we're still under a quarantine when graduation was supposed to take place, the horse park is not going to penalize us in terms of charging us money or anything like that, but they do not have really any availability in their schedule in the summertime. So if we're not able to do the graduation ceremony that weekend of Memorial Day, then we'll have to look at some other options. So
now, will we have to pay them?
No, We will not. We've paid $1,000 down payment, which reserves the site, and they've offered, if again, this is an if, we're still holding out hope that we can do it, but if we do have to move it, they'll give us back the $1,000, or they can apply it to next year. It's whatever we all and you all want to do as a board. So we're going to have to start thinking about when we do have our May meeting, we're going to have a little bit more knowledge about how long we're going to be out, and we're going to have to start talking about what some possibilities could be. Any questions or comments about that right now?
Everybody else I've been noticing with funerals and church services doing drive-by type stuff. So, I mean, that might be an option where, they would drive by, you would hand them the diploma or something like that. We could do something. I mean, just an ideal, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think everything's on the table at this point. And again, I just think that we have to find a way to honor them for all of their dedication.
Mark, I was going to say something else. I know we had some concerns about the turf fields. I have had no negative comment. Everything that I saw, everything that people that's reached out has been just totally supportive of going ahead and moving forward with this turf field, and was very thankful that we moved forward with that. So the community seems to be, everybody that I've talked to or been in contact with has been really supportive.
Appreciate that. We're I think the biggest thing right now is we're just hopeful that we're able to get kids back, and so that we can, use all of our facilities sooner rather than later. All of us are, this is never seen anything like this, but our folks are doing a great job, by the way. I thank the transportation and food service folks earlier. We also have to thank our teachers. I mean, this is really different. And let's also thank our parents, because, NTI, it was never meant to do what it's doing right now. And we know it's not a perfect system, but I also want to brag on Elkhorn Elementary, and I'm going to do this tomorrow when we have our admin meeting. Matt Osborne, the principal there, they had put together a virtual online learning center at Elkhorn Elementary. They've built this site that has all of their non-traditional instruction work and positive messages for the kids, all in a kind of a one-stop shop. And it's really a model for the district and the state, for that matter. So we're gonna share that with as many people as we can. So,
well, one of the hindrances, with not having internet throughout the county, and then the library's been closed, it kind of hindered some parents from being able to get onto those sites.
And we've made accommodations at all of our schools with paper packets and bins where they can drop off work and pick up work. That's a touchless environment, a contactless environment. Nothing is optimal, but I think our folks are doing a really good job with all this.
Mr. Kopp, the only thing I would say, and I appreciate what Larry said, and I think as a board, we have done a good job. I just like for me, I've heard a lot of people, I just like us to be cautioned, because of so many people now who have lost their jobs, and so many people have been laid off. And, I know we're hurting a lot of people, but I just think in the next few months, we don't know what's going to happen. I think we need to be cautious of how we use our finances unless it's emergency situation. I mean, I just think we just need to be aware of that, money's not going to come in. I know the state's going to give us this year, but we don't know what next year holds for us.
Yeah, that's true. And we've had that discussion with all of our administrators, and we're going to talk about it again tomorrow. We've halted, purchases for, general fund purchases and, anything that's non-essential right now, we're kind of putting a hold on.
And I do want to clarify, I wasn't against the turf fields. It was the fact that we were spending that much money at a time when we have no idea what the future, what lays in store for the future. And that's why I agree with Chuck on this. We have to be so careful with the money we're spending for that very reason. So.
And I completely understand that concern. I talked to you about it after the meeting. I completely understand.
The buck stops with us, and I would really hate to.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be held accountable, put our feet to the fire in the community and said, my God, you look how much you all spent, almost $3 million, and nobody's using the field. It's not that I was against it. It was spending the money at such a perilous time. So,
and if it was coming from that, just from that pot of funds, the general fund, then I would have had hey, we have to take the same tact, but we're using our capital outlay dollars, which can only be used on capital projects, which is so that's helpful. And being able to extend the payments out over a 10-year period helps minimize the financial impact to us. And with interest rates being as low as they are right now, it was, in all honesty, it wasn't a terrible time to do it. But your point is very valid in terms of the perception, and we have to be very careful about those things. So,
have we received any more money back from the embezzlement situation?
Well, I don't think we really want to talk about that in an open meeting. But if you wanted to go into a closed session at some point, I could talk to you a little bit further about that.
I just didn't know if we'd gotten any more money back.
So.
Okay, am I still? Yeah, I'm on. Okay, and it looks like we're on to the consent agenda.
Yep. So sorry about that. The rationale, the consent agenda is presented for your approval. The recommended motion is to approve the consent agenda as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any questions or discussion? All right. I'll call the roll. I don't have that screen on, but I think I'm first and I say yes. And then Chuck Fletcher.
Yes.
Belinda Henson.
Yes.
Larry Perkins.
Yes.
Justin Watterson.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We all voted yes, Rebecca. All